So your kids are stupid enough, but instead of trying to hold parents and guardians accountable, making them actually do some parental work, getting them kids to get smarter, to keep up with society, because hell, what we got? We got AI. Did a story a couple of days ago about AI about to take half of y'all white collar jobs, let alone blue collar and any menial jobs out there that y'all think that y'all gonna be able to have and pay your bills. No, but they're not gonna do anything to try to help develop your mind greater. What they're gonna do is they're just gonna continue to dumb down school system. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell. So every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
Welcome back. School officials out in San Francisco are backing off a proposal now. It's called Grading for Equity. It would have allowed some high school students to retake tests multiple times, get passing grades for scores as low as 21 percentile, and
21 passing. You know, the only thing that you can be rewarded for failing, one of the few things you can be rewarded for failing is baseball. Because the best hitters in professional baseball hit around 300 or more, or 30% or more. That's it. And you can make millions of dollars doing it if you can hit 30%. This is why I try to tell our kids, you know what I'm saying, black kids, black boys, to or parents, put your kids in baseball and let and have them excel in baseball. Them not gonna Puerto Ricans and everybody are doing it. I mean, shoot, why black kids are not doing it? White folks doing it. All the kids from south of the border are doing it, coming up here to playing baseball. Why? Because they can make millions of dollars being quote unquote below average, because average is 500. But like I say, your best hitters hit 300. I don't know, hit 300, hit a 300. But schooling, dude, if you didn't put your name on your paper, you got a 50. And that was a failing grade back in my day. And they talking about somebody can pass with a freaking 21. What kind of give them multiple chances to take tests? Reconfigure 100 points grading scale, grade impacted by having signed permission slip or participating in a food drive. Are you serious? First of all, they're gonna fail because ain't nobody gonna be going to food drive because they're too sorry. They're too late to help. They can't even read a book. Why the hell you think they're gonna go and help out somebody else? They don't give a damn about their own self. But I'm sure they little piss poor parent is gonna give them permission slip so they can pass.
then boost their grades if they turned in permission slips or participated in food drives. This, according to local reporting. Critics of the proposal include California Democrat Ro Khanna, who says giving A's for 80% and no homework is not equity. It betrays the American dream and every parent who wants more for their kids. So
But this doesn't mean that you have to fall for it. I understand what he's saying, but just because everybody else are cool at being mediocre and stupid doesn't mean you have to fall in that trap. You make sure your kids read. You make sure your kids know how to do math. You make sure your kids develop comprehension and critical thinking skills. If everybody else want to be stark, stupid, deaf, dumb, and well, yeah, not deaf. I'm sorry, dumb and ignorant. Let them do it. As a matter of fact, what do? You either homeschool or you get them out of that school and put them in a better school. But you don't let, but because truthfully, you don't let your kids hang around slackers, because they're gonna grow up either being slackers or hang around slackers, and they'll never reach their potential because they're gonna always think they're the greatest thing in the neighborhood because everybody gonna look up to them as a genius, and they're gonna be working minimum wage job.
let's bring in Natalie Beisner. She's spokesperson for Walk Away, a campaign that urges people to leave the Democratic Party like she did, and Jessica Tapia, a former California public school teacher, now a PR advocate at Advocates for Faith and Freedom. Ladies, thanks for being with me. Take a look at this from San Francisco's Unified School District. Um, that's a quote from the Wall Street Journal. There we go. High school reading level proficiency at 52%, math 30.
Now I'm gonna tell you like this: that compared to some school stats that I actually read on this channel before, with schools out here in the Dallas Fort Worth area, 52% is pretty good. 36% is pretty good, which is a doggone shame. I've seen the low as 17% and 21, 23%. This is terrible at best, but it's better than a lot.
36%. Natalie, what gives?
And this is just reading. This has nothing to do with comprehension. I think it's just reading, but I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. It seems like they want to put a band aid on a bigger issue by just seemingly trying to get as many students as possible to get not F's, not A's, but B's and C's, and then pass them on to the next grade level. And while San Francisco has apparently gotten some common sense and backed off on this for at least the time being, apparently it's already been implemented in over 200 schools and districts and colleges across the nation, including here in California.
What?
And surprisingly to no one, the disparities that were there before grading for equity are still there and sometimes are magnified after the implementation of these. So it's really, again, just a band aid on a bigger issue.
Jessica, what's the strongest argument in favor of equity grading?
What the hell is equity graded? What does that mean? What is equally stupid?
Oh, I really don't think there is one. I hope by now that our nation has realized anything with the word equity in it belongs in the trash.
For
Look,
real, that
the core
definition.
of this program that they tried to bring forward is lowering the standards for our students. And that is not what is going to improve American education. Students rise to the standards that we place for them. And again, lowering them is not going to, as Natalie mentioned, get to the core of the problem. The core of the problem, why our students can't read, can't write, can't do math, is because they're missing the foundations. We need to get back to the roots, back to the foundations, back to the phonics, the addition, the subtraction, and then build from there.
It's funny because what has come across my timeline recently are hooked on phonics commercials. And now that I'm mentioning it, I'll probably see more. But that, like she said, that is what's missing. And it's not there. I've spoken before telling you guys about my childhood upbringing, me and my sister. My mom used to read to us when we was babies. She still has like cassette recordings of when she used to, yeah, when she used to read to me too, and my sister when we was babies. I can recall my sister, told you the story before many times, reading a story. Her and her friend who was like 3, 4 years older than her. They was in the back and they was reading books that my sister had. Now I remember that's fun, that's crazy. Ain't it? Reading books. I saw something that said back in the day, they said reading could be like detrimental. People trying to read too much and it could mess up the mind and cause like evil thoughts and stuff like that. Reading back in the day. But anyway, uh read to my sister, they was reading, this girl, the little girl was reading and she was stumped on a word. You could tell she was like, could barely read anyway. Stomped on a word. My sister go over there and she looks at the word and she says it perfectly. Now, I know she was counting the words because my mom has read these stories to her over and over again at night. So she knew the words, so she knew the story. So she could go and say, ah, and she, you know what I'm saying? She, instead of like looking at the word, I know what she was doing, but it built a foundation to where she could actually see a word and know, one, she can count and see what it and read and know what it says. But two, is also putting her memory like this is what this word looks like. You see what I'm saying? These letters in this order, like this, it's comprehension and critical thinking and putting things together. This is why you need, like I said, when I was growing up, I knew, and my kids too, I made sure that they knew that how to spell their name. You know what I'm saying? Knew their ABCs, knew how to read, knew their colors, could write their name, all this stuff before they even stepped foot in the first day of kindergarten. Because that's what parents did. They were not going to send their kids to school looking stupid because every parent wanted to be proud of their child because I know. Well, because if your child, if you're proud of your child, then you know that you did a good job because you want everybody else to be like, man, that child is smart. That child is a genius. My God, he's smart. Listen, where you learn how to do this in the third? I told you that my youngest daughter, when she was when I forgot, was it third grade? I think it was when she went to third grade. They had parent teacher conference like beginning of the semester, and her math English teachers were like, man, she must have had a good English teacher last year because she can read and comprehend. I like, no, she read all summer to me. She would have to read and give me a summary of what the hell she read. That's what we did at home. That's what a parent is supposed to do. Making sure your child is learning at it because the foundation starts when you are babies. Because number one, if you don't start when they are babies, the motherfolk will. Because they understand by the time they 10, 12, 13 years old, it's pretty much too late. It's pretty much too late. It's going to be much harder to get them on track after that age.
Maybe a little history thrown in for good measure. Natalie, now we can bring up back that Wall Street Journal full screen. Unsurprisingly, teachers are pushing back. When Rochester, Minnesota made equitable grading mandatory for all teachers back in 2020, students realized they could retake tests as often as they wanted, and they began putting off studying. As that year went on, the students, unsurprisingly, fell behind. A high school math teacher says grading for equity was really toxic and really bad for student learning.
So you can take a test, fail it. It's kind of like how these modules are at work now. You can take a test, take a little module quiz, fail it, but then you can go back and look at the module, look at the questions, read the answer, know you got it wrong, and go back and take the dang same thing again. It's like, I mean, that's what they do in the professional settings. So they're like, well, shoot, we're gonna teach them that in the kids in the children's settings. And it's sad because again, these children are falling behind. And it's bad for their learning. It is because they're not learning anything. They don't have to study. They just say, hey, I'm gonna take a test. If I fail, I can take it again tomorrow. And by the 10th time, I should be able to get a 21 so I can pack. That's not even funny.
What do you say, Natalie?
Yeah. I mean, as Jessica pointed out, anything with equity is toxic. The real life is not equitable. Try as the Democrats might, and succeeding in life is more than just getting a passing grade on a final exam that you're able to retake multiple times. It's being accountable to yourself, being accountable to others, time management, being able to meet deadlines. And there's really no leeway for that in this program where you could apparently turn in homework late, not turn.
Yeah, you try to work in corporate America and have a deadline and fail to meet that deadline not once but multiple times and see how long you keep that job.
It at all.
And then you'll be going home back to your mama house crying and grandma house crying because you don't understand why they won't give you another chance.
I'll be late to class, not show up at all, and then it's just the final exam. Again, it seems to be an emphasis just what's on paper. How many of my students can get C's? How many can get B's? How many can just pass?
It's about how many can show up because they get their federal funding. Number one, with how many kids show up to school every day. The main thing they want you to do is get them butts in the seat so they can get that federal funding. Then the grading, like say 21 ain't nothing. That lets you know that your child's education means nothing to the school system. But you're upset because Trump want to revamp this whole thing because it's failing the children. And y'all want to have a problem. But only people that holler are the ones with the kids who ain't learning nothing. And they ain't probably because the parents don't know nothing.
So we can feel good, but are they actually learning more? Are they actually set up to succeed in life? As the mayor of San Francisco pointed out, this program would not set them up to succeed in life. And then we wonder why we have disparities in the real world, which again is not equitable.
Ladies, thank
Can you learn AI?
you so much for joining me to talk about this.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
So this is terrible. She said what, over 200 schools are doing this nationwide? Are you serious? Article just came out recently, and I did a video on how AI is going to take a lot of people's job, white collar people. The world evolves and advances every minute of every day. And if you don't keep up, you will fall behind. But it's not necessarily falling behind. It's it's like someone figures out a way. It's like if two people are in the hole and somebody is figuring out a way to climb out the hole, and the other person is sitting there, and this person is climbing out the hole. But what are they gaining? They're gaining strength. Uh, they're learning how to, advance, figuring out how to climb up these rocks. While the other person might try fall and say, "Man, I'm not doing that. It looks hard." And you sit there, and the person climbs out, and then the person just sitting there, just barely, waiting to die. But the way technology is moving now, it's not even that simple. It's like you stand at the bottom of a hole and now it's raining. And this hole that you in is now holding water. And at first you're not worried about it because it rains a little bit and then it might dry out. Then it rains some more and it might dry out. And this may happen for over a period of time. But then one day it starts raining and it doesn't stop. And then it gets up to your knees. And then before it drops even half an inch, quarter of an inch, starts raining again. Now it's up to your waist. And then it keeps raining. So now, not only are you stuck in a hole, now you are about to and may drown and perish in this world because you thought that not going to school or going to school, making a 21, taking a test over and over again was going to sustain you in the real world. And all it's going to do is keep you where you at. And then, it's going to be crabs in the barrel. It's going to be water seeks its own level. And everybody else who thinks like you do will all be stuck in that same place. But you're happy because misery loves company. The world is evolving too fast. Education is important. For those that try to say that college is a scam, high school is a scam, the way the system is built for education is quote unquote the scamming. Like I say, this whole making sure there's enough kids in the seats so they can get their federal funding, making sure you pass the standardized test so they can get that funding. That's it. They don't care about if your kids learn anything or not. But then, on the same token, the parents are not caring, because if the parents were caring, they will be teaching their kids, both, like I say, before they get into kindergarten. They would be making sure they're watching public access or learning TV and not just watching a bunch of nonsense on TV. It's okay to be entertained sometime, but learning should be involved. They would understand they should be outside playing, getting that, burning that energy, learning, using their brains to figure out things to play with. They would understand this and not just giving them an advice and a device and then go sit down and leave me alone while I sit here and smoke my weeds and do my nails and my hair and my eyelashes. You understand what I'm saying? And kick it with my boys or whatever. Go over there and play. No, that's not what it takes. You are failing. You are failing your children, setting them up for failure. Schooling is not a scam if done the right way. College is not a scam, depending on what degree you get. One last point. There's an article that came out. I wish I would have done a video about this, but I may just circle back and do it. Where they show like 40 things, I think, that used to be normal in school, but not, or used to teach in school, but they don't. And I can't remember what they were because it was stuff that we learned. So I can't remember what's not in school. I know cursive was one of them. But when I'm looking through these things, I'm like, you know what? Because then you look in the comments, people say, well, learning about rocks and dinosaurs, that had nothing to do with me, with the job I got now, the career I got now. When I think about it, and I say, you know what? It doesn't. It does not. But you know what it does? It allows you to understand the earth. Two, it's proven that you can be introduced to a subject and learn and understand it, even if it doesn't make sense. Even if you can't get it at first, or if it's hard or complicated, or if it's just way out left or other left. And like I say, it just sounds ignorant, but you still grasp it, figure it out, and learn it. Because It's to like it teaches you critical thinking skills and it improves your critical thinking skills and your comprehension skills. That's what's important. The more you learn and the more different ways you learn and different things that you do learn, what it does is teaches you that when you become an adult, everything that you run into, every situation or person that you run into, you are not going to like it. You are not going to understand it, but you better figure it out. You better comprehend and figure it out in order to succeed or excel in it, or it can mess up your life's goals. And that's what schooling is about. Even college, like people, college is not necessarily about learning about the Constitution. Like I got a constitutional reader back here behind me. I can read it all day and probably won't really understand the true Constitution from front to back. Some people will, some people won't. Just like the Bible, some people can read the Bible, understand it, or they feel they can understand it. But hell, the Bible is something you got to read, and things are introduced to you, and you figure things out over time as you get older. You can read the same chapter at 10, 20, 30, and by the time you 50, you don't figure something different out on that same chapter. But anyway, it's not about if you can understand the Constitution in college. It's just about what corporate America wants to know is if you get a degree, that means you went to school for 4 years, you were able to handle a task for 4 years, different tasks, passed them, excelled in them, and was able to get a certification or diploma to say that, hey, everything that this school threw at me for 4 years coming out of high school, the 4 years where I'm going from a child to an adult, I was able to master it. And so now I'm ready to go and work for you or to work with you or start my own business or whatever the case may be. That's what college is for. That's what college is for. But if you want to use it to get degrees and get student loans and then scam the system, and now you owe $50,000 student loans and you have no degree, you only have a degree or you don't even make $50,000 a year, that was on you. That was on you. You tried to do something that just to say grandma said I need to get a college degree. But in what? Just to say you graduated college? Come on now. Don't make sense. But anyway, yeah, this man, shoot. Yeah, go on, Trump. Go on, Trump. Dismantle this whole education system and Linda McMahon. That's who's over it, ain't it? Dismantle this crap. Well, that's the federal system, not the state. They need to do something with them local. They need to do something with the local system. Maybe the governors and the senators and representatives can do something. The House and the Senate can do something about these local education because, whoo, man, I feel sorry for the kids and the parents who are raising these kids. But anyway, tell me what you think about your story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how I do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those four things cost you nothing but maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world does to this channel. If you would like to support us financially, you can always get a super thing, super chat, super stickers, or you can go to the description box. There are a couple of links there you can click on and help support us that way. Now, if you would like something tangible for your dollars, which a lot of people do, you can go to marlonmorale.com. You can hit our Shopify store. Both of those links are in the description box too. Or you can just click the shop button below and check out all our luxury items. We got fragrances that last all day. We got 100% silk products. We got beard products, handbags, and much more. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. With that being said, I leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.